Hello everyone, welcome to British Boxing Blog podcast. Delighted to be joined by Callum French, fresh from his gold medal over in Lithuania. Cheers for coming on, mate. I know you said you would and you kept your word, so obviously we really appreciate that. How you doing, mate? And congratulations, actually, first of all.
Aye, nice one. Like I said, happy as a pig in shite. Buzzing with that gold medal. 18 months out the ring, so it was nice to get back in there and get back boxing again. You know what I mean? Back in the competition environment, yeah, because you can get away on all these training camps and that, and do all these gym bouts, but now it compares to the actual the competition environment. You know, like weighing in every day, boxing every day, then getting out the ring, getting your weight off for the next day. So it was nice to get back in there, man.
Was there a bit nerves going into it, as you say, like first time in 18 months? Were you a bit like, oh yeah?
Why, course. If anyone tells you they're not nervous before they get into a fight, lying, because there's always them pre-match, nervous energy. But it's just how you deal with it. You know what I mean? You learn to deal with it better as your career goes on. You become more calm and more in the moment, and you've done all the training and all the preparation and stuff. So you've got to trust yourself and believe in yourself. And I haven't had a week off since Christmas. I've been down Sheffield Monday to Friday every day since Christmas. So I trusted and believed in my ability, that competition, and I knew I was going to win the gold,
Does it help, you said you were the off since Christmas, does it help having something to focus on, like an actual fight date? And you probably talked about this tournament, in Lithuania for Canny Wild, you know what I mean? So just having something in the diary and something to right, I'm done there, I need to be bang on it for then, rather than just be like, oh, I'm taking an hour. Do you know what I mean?
Aye, of course. I was taking over for a while. I didn't have a fight date for a while. It was only in the last, I think it was 5-6 weeks. 5-6 weeks ago, I got told I was boxing in Lithuania. So before then, I was literally, because Berkeley wasn't open due to the lockdown and stuff, I was just staying down Sheffield until the Friday every week. So I was just taking over down Sheffield every week.
Yeah.
And like you say, it gets a bit boring, when you haven't got anything at the end of it, the good bit at the end of it.
No.
So it was nice to get a date and get boxing again.
So
enjoyed it out there.
The tournament itself, obviously you had 3 fights, 3 wins. Who did you beat? How was it? How was the whole experience?
So my first fight in the quarterfinals, I boxed the Lithuanian. Quite raw, quite novice-y, to be honest. He was but quite big and quite strong, but quite raw. It was nice to get in with him, bit of a sort of a warm-up fight. You know what I mean?
Aye.
Then the next day in the semis, I boxed the French kid. It was nice to get the French team back, because they're number 1 beaters in the European finals in 2018.
Right.
Sofian, he's called. So it was nice. He wasn't there this time. There was a different kid there, so it was nice to get them back and level the score with the French team.
Absolutely.
He was a good kid. He was a sharp southpaw, to be honest. I watched him on the video analysis on the daytime before I boxed him, and he looked sharp on the video analysis. He had a razor sharp jab. He had good footwork, good judgment, distance. So I thought, I'm going to be up against it here. But once I started going through the gears and the bout, he couldn't go with us. I think the experience brought us through, because I think he was a quite bit of a young'un. I think he was only about 20 or something. Then in the final, I boxed an old 4, Enrico La Cruz, he's called, from the Netherlands. That was the 3rd time I've boxed him. He's experienced as well. He's a good kid. Been around a while. He's won medals at a few majors. Yeah. He's got wins over Alvarez, the Cuban. So he's knee mug, he's a good kid. I think he's got a silver in the Europeans and 2 bronzes. So he's a decent kid, but I boxed well, come out, and was too sharp for him. He didn't really have a gun in the first 2, but the last round he had a bit of a blast, but I got it. Won the first 2 rounds quite easy, then got the decision.
Good that. What was the other 2 fights like with him? You said you boxed him twice before. Do you remember?
So my first competition for GB back in 2016, I boxed him then, and he had already represented the British Lionhearts in the WSB. So the coaches knew who he was before I boxed him. So they were saying, you're going to have to be on your game. You had to beat him. I beat him in the Chemistry Cup. That was my first competition for GB. That was a close fight as well. He was big and strong for that weight as well. Then I boxed him in the Europeans in 2017 for a medal in Kharkiv in Ukraine, and I beat him there as well. So he probably hates me now, to be honest.
You've got his number, haven't you?
But I was glad to get back boxing, glad to get the win. Like,
no, I bet you were, mate. Honestly, well done. What next then? I've had a few questions in. Like, what next after these? I think it was Sam Nichols on Twitter says after 3 good wins and a gold medal. Like, what's your plans for the rest of the year? How do you see that going?
So I've got options. I'd say it's quite an exciting time in my career at the minute, to be honest. Like, because it's like a big decision coming up where I'm going to have to pick which route I'm going to go down. So I've got options there. And GB are quite keen to keep us on for another cycle. So there's that option where I can go on to the Worlds in November, then the Commonwealths next year, and then see where it goes from there. And there's another option where I've been speaking to a few managers and a few promoters. I'm not going to mention any names, but they're quite keen. They're keen to get us on board as well. So it's a big decision coming up in my career where I'm not 100% yet. So we'll see. I know I'll make the right decision for me when the time comes.
Absolutely.
But
I guess you're talking about possibly. I'm not fishing here, but you possibly turning over at some point. You know what I mean? And that brought us on. Like, obviously, you've seen like Mark Dickinson's gone, like Tommy Hodgson, Cyrus is about to turn. You know what I mean? Like a few of them Berkeley lads now are starting to just.
I definitely there's that buzz of the all the North East lads turning pro. You want to get on it sort of thing, don't you? Because we'll sell out that arena. We'll be able to put a full show on. Just the North East lads, just the Berkeley lads, basically. Do you know what I mean? So it's that buzz of getting because I've been boxing in these Uzbekistan sports halls and these Kazakhstan sports halls for the past 3 years. You know what I mean? We've been brought up doing this apprenticeship, and we've done more apprenticeship at the hardest level. So I'm a big believer in you've got to embrace change in that in your life, and when change comes into your life, you've got to accept it. So it might be the time to go pro as well. But like I say, I've got options. I've got that route I can go down, and I know that GB are also keen to keep us on for another cycle. So we'll see what happens, and we'll see what the right decision is when it comes to making it.
Absolutely, man. It's like phenomenal when you had Mark Dickinson on here a couple of months back now, and you just list them fighters from Berkeley, and it's like yourself, Mark, like obviously Lawsy was there, 2 McCormacks, like Callum Robinson and Tommy Hodgson, and it just like I probably missed loads there. Do you know what I mean? It's phenomenal, isn't it? That amount of
talent. Iron sharpens iron, doesn't it? Iron sharpens iron. When you're surrounded by winners and you're surrounded by champions, you're gonna be a champion. And you've got no choice but to level up to everyone else's level. Do you know what I mean? In the sparring and that, because we're all so competitive. We've all been competitive. Listen, we've been sparring down Berkeley since we've been 12-year-olds. You know what I mean? In competitive spars, that's why we've been winning. We've won everything through the juniors, won everything through the seniors, and come up to international level together. So that's why we've been so successful, because we're pushing each other on all the time. We're so competitive in sparring and that, and it shows when we box as well. The levels we are above some of our opponents. So, but you're kind of taking off and away from the man behind the magic down there as well, Graham Rutherford. He's the amount of time he's put into it, and he's really drilled all Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 6 nights a week, or drilled these techniques and stuff that he's given me, and it's paid off.
That was going to be my next question. I was going to say, what do you put it down to? And I know people can't speak highly enough of Graham. He's not a man that, he doesn't go after the limelight or nothing like that. Do you know what I mean? We've been able to see him in that, but he's not he's not in your face with the achievements of the fighters and that. He just takes a bit of a back seat, and does he just drive everyone on down there
that's the best way to be, man, isn't it? Graham knows that's the best way to be as well. You can't be taking the limelight, you know what I mean? Graham knows that. Yeah, Graham sits back and lets the boxers take the credit for it, but really he deserves a lot of the credit as well. Since we've been young'uns, he's been drilling it. He gets into your head, and he lets you know, he gets into your ego and that. He doesn't let you have an ego and stuff like that. You know what I mean? he lets you know that he's the gaffer and he's in charge, and you've got to do what he says, and you've got to box to his he's good at reading fights. Do you know what I mean? So he knows how to win the fight, and he knows what you're good at and how you can get through the fight with your style. Do you know what I mean?
And just like I like that phenomenal list of fighters, and I probably missed some off my list there. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just outstanding, isn't it? Like,
I through every age group as well. It's through the schoolboys. We've still got them coming in now, man. We've still got I went down to see him last night, and just to have a big crack with him and that, because I haven't been down since I got back.
Yeah.
So I went down to see him last night, and we had like 6-year-old kids and that in, man, a full class of them, all of them sparring and that. And I was just thinking to myself, these are going to be the next ones off the production line. These are going to be the next big talents, and it's been the same for years. The Berkeley have brought kids through from schoolboy, junior, senior, and it shows, because every other club on GB have only got one, maximum 2 people on from one club, and Berkeley had 8 on at one point. So it shows, man.
What age did you first go? What age did you first go down to Berkeley?
So I joined Berkeley when I was about 12, 13. I started off at High Fell.
Did you?
Because of so it was quite close. It was close. I was up Lyndhurst, so it was just me and my brother started going there. He used to take the bike up, and I used to stand on the stump pegs on the back, and he used to pedal us up every night. So I started there, and then I remember going to some of these the club shows and that, and seeing some of these Berkeley lads, and the Berkeley lads were going away at the championships, and all of them had the Berkeley tracksuits on, and I'll turn up in a big team and that. And I was thinking to myself, I want to be part of that, me. So
you want a bit of that?
Right? I want a piece of that cake, me. So I rang Graham up and got myself down there. Tell us to come down. So I went down. I sparred on my first day down there, and he just went from there. Really liked the look of us, and just went from there. Won the junior ABAs in my first senior season at Berkeley. Then went from there, really.
So how does being a Berkeley boxer, and at what point did GB get in touch, and who do they get in touch with? Is it Graham? Is it the club, and say
what happens is,
how does that work?
You go in the senior ABAs for your club.
Yeah.
If you win or get to the final of the senior ABAs, you get a GB trial. So you get a letter through the door saying you've got to come down for the weekend. And you go down there, you'll do what you would do on a GB camp. So you get up in the morning at 7 on the track, you do your run. You come back at about 10 for your strength and conditioning session.
Yeah.
And you come back at about 3, 4 for your boxing session. So you do that for the weekend. And then as you're down there, all the coaches assess you and see if you've got what it takes to be a GB boxer. And then I think you're only going down for about 2 or 3 trials, 2 or 3 weekends, and then they say you've made it a part of the team. So you start off on the development squad, or the podium potential, I think it's called now, where you're going down the odd weekend, and then you'll do a few tournaments on that. And if they're impressed and you're winning the tournaments and stuff or medaling, they boost you up to the podium squad, where you're down there full time. But it's enjoyable down there. I like going down Sheffield. It's the crack and that's good. The training, the setup, everything.
How long have you been now? How long have you must be a while.
So I got on and I won the ABAs, my first senior ABAs in 2015. So I got on after that. So I think I got on in the November of 2015. So I've been on 6 years now. I've got myself a couple of major medals, got myself about 5 or 6 smaller tournament goals. So I've done a lot of my apprenticeship now. Do you know what I mean? I'm 25 now as well. So
absolutely, mid-20s. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
I guess you're at that, like you said before, you're at that crossroads, aren't you? Do I go for the one more?
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. It's a big it's a big decision in my career, because I think both ways I'm going to go. I think I'll be successful both ways, because we've got the Commonwealth Games next year. I do think I'm good enough to medal there, and then the Olympics again 2 years after. I do think I'm good enough to medal there as well. But it's just about the time that it leaves us after the Olympics, because I'll be about 28 after them Olympics. So
that's it.
I want to be hitting me prime in in the pros now, not just like starting off in the pros. So
some people
we'll see what happens,
don't they? Like I remember Thomas Stalker turn over when he was quite like, he was like 30 or something. It was like like, you know what I mean? It was just
sometimes you can miss the boat, mate.
Yeah,
Sometimes
that's what I
you
mean,
miss the boat, but like obviously some people, different people have got different goals out of the sport. You know what I mean? To Stoker's goal might have been to go to the Olympics his full life, so he might not have been too bothered about the pros, and he's ended up working for MTK anyway. So he's ended up Irish from Aye. So like I say, different people have different goals in the sport, and there's loads of different routes you can go down, and like I say, whatever route I do choose to go down, I think I'll be successful in it.
Think you've got the style for the pros? Do you think you'd adapt quite quickly? And
I definitely do, mate. I had 5 of the WSB fights when the World Series of Boxing was in, and I won 4 of them. I lost 1 away to Kazakhstan, which was a bit of a dodgy one. But them 5-round fights, I think I suited down to the ground. To be honest, the day before weigh-ins and that suited us because I could get my weight right down to 60, and then I would be big and strong by the time I got in the ring. In the 5-round fights, I'm quite a technical boxer, so I need like a bit of time to pick my shots, and it gives us that time to settle down. And now sometimes a free freeze is about 100 miles an hour, and you've got to start at a fast pace, and you've got to win the first round, win the second round, win the third round, really. Whereas in that WSB, it gives us time to take time, pick the shots, work your opponent out. I like to punch a lot to the body as well, so it gives us time to wear my opponent down with body shots and stuff like that. So I enjoyed the WSB franchise, and I think my style would suit the pros. And because I've got quite a good amateur style, but I reckon I'd adapt quickly. Like,
what was it like fighting in Gateshead back at the leisure centre? Remember when can
I remember? I'll never forget that for the rest of my life, man.
As a Gateshead lad, that must have been quite a proud night. That was a Friday night, wasn't it? I remember, and that must have.
Were you there? Were you?
You know what? I wasn't. I wasn't there then.
That's how it is. That's how it is.
It's good we didn't go. I don't know why we didn't go, but I was good that I missed that. That was a special night, though. Atmosphere.
That was one of the most surreal moments of my career. That boxing in front of my home crowd at Gateshead. I sold the place out as well. We had about 3,000 people there, man, fully packed. It was unbelievable, you know. The build up to it, they've done a lot of media coverage before it as well, so they sold it well, and then on the night was a wicked night.
One of them nights,
and it was it'll stay with us for the rest of my life. Like, obviously the other WSBs were good as well down York Hall, and that I took a few down there as well, and they were good nights because that York Hall, when you're boxing there, I don't know if you've been, but when the balcony's right over the top of the ring, it feels like the crowd are in the ring with you. And I took a few down there, like, and when the crowd got behind you in there, it's like fighting in a phone box. But that WSB at the Gateshead Leisure Centre, that was something to write home about. Like, it was an unbelievable experience.
But it wasn't. The thing is, that's it. Like you said before, you know, like you've done the apprenticeships, you've boxed all over the world and stuff, and like Lithuania and that. But there must be something, you know, that must like play in your mind a bit, thinking, God, imagine the arena, or imagine the Eagles, you know what I mean? Like, with a full,
I've got it,
with all your pals watching you from Gateshead and that.
I've got quite a big following from Gateshead. Everyone gets behind us. So I reckon I'd be able to do a few tickets in that arena as well, like, and get everyone behind us and get a bit of a journey going.
Like, obviously, that's it. Like the last few years, you know, you must have seen, obviously, like, you know, we've had them arena nights, you know, probably like led by like Richard, I guess, and you've had like your Tommy Wards, and obviously Savannah's doing well and stuff like that. But you know, you must think, it must be kind of nice that, you know what I mean? Like coming out in the arena.
Yeah, of course, the new breed.
You know what I mean? He brings a show.
The new breed's coming through, man. The new batch off the production line. The new batch of Berkeley boys is coming through, and everyone's going to see the levels just raise a bit when the Berkeley boys come through, because, like I say, we've operated at that top level, and not many people have seen lads that have operated at the level we.
What? Still there?
Aye.
Like,
Get out there and showcase the skills on the big stage.
Who stands out for you then? Obviously, people you've trained alongside. I know you're going to say the McCormacks because everyone's like, how good are them two? Like, everyone, people can't speak highly enough of them two. Well, how good?
Quality, honestly, mate. Quality, honestly. I've been Luke's sparring partner since we've been 12-year-old, and we've been bringing each other on since then. Luke's quality, great box fighter.
Yeah.
Pat McCormack, another amazing talent. Pat, bit of not as much as a box fighter as Luke. Pat's more of like a bit of a counter puncher, more of a standoff sort of boxer, but equally both tremendous talents, and they're both strong kids as well. They'll do well in the pros. They'll knock people out in the pros.
There'll be no shortage of offers for them too, will it? When they, like,
what's that, mate?
There'll be no shortage of offers for them to turn over, will it? When it comes,
of course not. Of course not. Everyone will be trying to get their hands on them. They've been back training down Berkeley as well, so it'll be good to be go back down. I'll be back down Sheffield next week to see them, so it'll be good to see them. That because I haven't seen them since they've been back, because they went away to box in Sturbia a couple of weeks ago, and as they were coming back, I was just going away, so I haven't really seen them since they've been back. So it'll be good to get down and see them again.
Yeah. So you still, just dip into Berkeley every now and then, sort of thing. Like if you're up here and you want to.
So whenever I'm home, I'm training at Berkeley. So
yeah,
if I get back on a Thursday, I'll train at Berkeley on a Friday. Get train at Berkeley on a Monday before I go down Sheffield. So I'm always in with Graham and that. Like I say, it wasn't on over the lockdown and that because of all the rules and stuff. But good to be back in with the guru of the sport, as I say.
Yeah.
Aye.
You mentioned before, like you're saying you're 25 now and stuff, and like you've got that decision to make. Is it hard being like a young boxer from Gateshead who's 25 and like your mates are out and having a bit of a drink and from like 18, 17, whatever, you start going out and you're like, oh Jesus, I've got a fight. Is it hard to like?
It used to be like when I was like 17, 18, I wasn't that mature to it. You know what I mean? It was tough at first because I was thinking to myself, do I want to be going out? I want to be going out with my mates on the drink and that. I want to be doing this. I want to be doing that. But as you get older, you realise that's not gearing towards your goals. So you've got to do what's best for you. Do you know what I mean? You've got to. I'm quite dedicated and stuff. So it doesn't really bother us staying off the drink and that before tournaments and stuff like that. I can go a while off the drink. Like I hadn't had it. I've been off the drink since last drink I had was apart from the other day after my fight. The last drink I had was New Year's Eve.
Was it?
So I had a drink on New Year's Eve, and then I hadn't drank up until that tournament, and then I had a little one after my tournament there. So it doesn't bother as much staying off the drink and that. Like when I've got a date, it's fully geared towards that.
And I guess your mates must be good with it as well. Do you know what I mean? Like they're not, they've got used to know what you do. They know who you are. You know what I mean? They're not going to like.
They never even try to get us out on the drink.
Exactly.
To be honest with you, they know what's good for me and what's best for me. Now, some people's mates will be dragging them out on the drink and that. No, come and do this, come and do that. They're not your proper mates. They're just your associates. But your proper mates will be the ones who are like trying to help you and trying to progress your career and know that you've got to stay off the drink if you want to win these tournaments and that. And it pays off. You know what I mean? You can see it in the performances.
You mentioned the Stone Flop. You mentioned the Stone Flop before we came online. Before it started, you sort of local and stuff, and who've been good with you and good sponsors for you and that as well. So I'm gonna give them a bit of a shout.
Of course. So Deck Barris, the bloke that owns a trophy, he was helping out a lot. Lockdown.
Your volume just went there, mate. Are you still?
Aye.
You're back there now. Cut off a bit there. But
shout out to a few of my sponsors as well. Casdeck, Electrical, Independent Utility Advice. Got Baslat and 1225, the bar down timeout as well. So big shout out to them who've kept us going through the lockdown and stuff and kept supporting us.
Like it's funny you mentioned sponsors because you know, for me, I always used to associate sponsors with like the pros. You know what I mean? I would think, oh, GB boxer, you'll not need sponsors. You'll just get your funded. You know, it's all. But it's mad how important a role they play, isn't it? Like,
of course, right. If anything, we needed a bit more from the amateurs because when you're pro, you're going to be on these big matchroom bills, getting all the big bucks off Eddie. Do you know what I mean? But us down there in Sheffield, we're a bit behind the scenes down there. We don't really get much coverage in that.
Yeah.
We don't get paid as much, so the sponsors are probably more important when you're amateur, and then they jump on board a lot when you're pro because obviously they're going to get the logos and that shown on telly. So hopefully a few more will jump on when I come to turn pro, and then get a bit more coin.
Absolutely, man. That's what it's about. And a couple of questions from online. Someone, CM Sport Agency on Instagram. Lowfell or Jesmond for a pint? If you don't pick Lowfell, yeah, I'm hanging up.
Nah, Lowfell. I've never even been to Jesmond for a pint.
I was wondering why I said
Rob's out there, man. Yeah, you'll not get in tracksuit bottoms over there, man. That's all I've got. Pair of tracksuit bottoms to go and doing the felling.
Absolutely, very good answer. Obviously, quite a common question. Who's the hardest opponent you've ever faced?
Hardest opponent I've ever faced. The best kid I've ever boxed is a lad called Sofiane. I think it's Sofiane Oumaha from France, Olympic silver medalist. He's a good kid, but the best people I've ever been in the ring with, so sparring, I've sparred Shakwa Stevenson, sparred Keyshawn Davis, and probably would say Pat McCormacks up there with them too as well on that level.
Good answers, that, isn't it? Like some level of opponents, isn't it? You know, like some level of like skill opponents. Like the Americans are still produce that talent, don't they, all the time? Like just different quality fighters.
Quality fighters, different styles of fighters as well. Obviously, you've got that Eastern European style, which is a bit rough and tough, but these Americans have got their own little style there. They don't waste a lot. They don't do much, but they don't waste a lot. Every punch is precise and powerful and nailed on.
You love your boxing, don't you? Like you're one of them fighters that you watch it as well. Do you know what I mean? Like we see you tweeting away on.
I love me boxing. I love me boxing, me man. Yeah, me and Fraser Clark joke about it all the time down GB. How we've got no crack until the boxing comes on, and then as soon as the boxing comes on, boxing Twitter comes alive.
That's it. That's it.
I love a bit of crack when the boxing comes on, like because obviously if you do it and you love it, you love talking about it and that, don't you? So. It's a good thing to have a bit of crack on about it.
I love listening to me. I love listening to people that do it and who can like break it down and talk about it. And that I think it's fascinating. Some fighters don't do this. Some fighters like can switch off. You know what I mean? And like I always remember the McDonald twins just being like, you know, we're kind of good at it, but we're not like huge fan. Like they didn't watch it. And that's mad, that, isn't it?
Some people don't like I say. Some people. And now a lot of people who, even before they're going into box, they just don't even think about boxing because they don't like that nervous energy they get from boxing. So they try not to think about it and that. But I don't know. I love the sport, mate. Like I love talking about it, and I love doing it now.
Where did it come from for you at like 12, 13? What made you think, you know what, I want to go to IFL and then, but like why? Was it like football or like, you know, where did boxing come from?
It was before that when I first started. It was when I was 9 when I first started. It was 9 when I first went up IFL. My first memories of boxing was watching Amir Khan against Mario Kinlan in the Olympic finals.
Yeah.
And I think Regondo was in that Olympics as well. I remember seeing them Cubans and thinking, it was just effortlessly. They just used to move around the ring and that. And the way that how the hook spins and that and get out of the way and lean back. I was just thinking to myself, I want to do something like that. And then it was the year after the Contender series come on the telly. With Sylvester Stallone and Sugar Ray Leonard. And I remember like it was yesterday. It was Sergio Mora, the Latin snake. He was in it. He won it, didn't he? Peter Manfredo, Alfonso Gomez. Yeah. Well, I remember them two were the first fight on the first series. Alfonso Gomez against Peter Manfredo. And Peter Manfredo was the favourite to win it, I think. And Alfonso Gomez beat him. And I remember watching that fight and my brother would come in the kitchen. Yeah, this is where it all started. And I was in that corner. I had one glove on and one of my mad slippers on, and my brother was in that corner there with one glove on, one of my slippers on, and I was just thinking to myself, I'm Alfonso Gomez, yeah, I need to get my feet home and dust them. And I come in and just met in the middle there.
Aye.
Went at it. And just went from there, really. Like, I remember after that, asking him to take us up to the local boxing club up Highfell, up Lyndhurst, about 10-minute walk away or something. And he took us up and just went from there. Like, I just remember walking into the gym and just like this, and that might sound cliched and that, but just the smell of the sweaty gloves and that, I just knew this is for me. This, like, and just loved it from there. To be honest, like.
That's that, man. Brilliant, lovely.
My brother loves telling that story, and all. Every interview I do, when I'm get asked how did it start, I'll tell that story. My brother gets buzzing, he loves that crap. I've done a video with the National Lottery, done a video on us, and I tell them that story, and they came to the house with the cameras and everything, and they got me and my brother to hire a glove on and a slipper on, and they were taking pictures of that with these. I'll have to send you the pictures of that. Like,
but your brother loved that, did he?
Oh, yeah, he loves it.
No,
my biggest fan, man. My brother started as well when we both started up Highfell. He was probably better than me when we first started, to be honest. Like,
was he?
He was a good fighter. My brother, I got he got beaten in the novice national semi-finals of a kid from Rotunda. But he was a good fighter. My brother, he still boxes on some of them D-days now. The D-days.
Does he?
He gets on some of them. He's had two or three on them, and he won them all. He started at the same time as me as well, but he faded out a little bit of it. He was working in Nissan and stuff, so he couldn't keep it up, keep the training and stuff up. So, but that's where it first started. This right here, right in the middle of this kitchen here, toe to toe. When I say toe to toe, he was on his knees, like, but.
Is he older or younger?
He's older than us. He's about 31 now.
Okay.
But I was a good fighter. He was a good fighter, my kid.
Class, man, eh? The journey continues and all, doesn't it? So I'm sure.
Oh, yeah, of course. This is only the start, man.
Absolutely, mate.
It's just the start of it.
I'm sure whatever decision you have to make, mate, you'll make the right one. I'm sure you will.
Oh, yeah, I definitely.
Keep updated as well. And as I said to you before, like, I appreciate your time. Like, you as good as you were, and you said as soon as I'm back, we'll do it. And it's worked out well for me. I'm off to the match after this, so I'm gonna.
Sheffield on Sheffield United. Callum Wilson's not playing now.
He's injured, isn't he?
But we're safe now, aren't we? So it's not everyone's down, so it's not as much to play for. But
that's it.
I'll be watching that. Like,
it's just the first one back with fans, isn't it? So I had to like apply for.
Are you going to the? Are you going to the match?
I'm going. Had to apply for me. Take a few of the lads, so we're meeting in the George at 1:30. So
wicked crack.
So the time has worked out all right. So, but I thank you very much, mate, and I appreciate your time.
No bother. Thanks for having us on.
Yes, Callum. I'll speak to you soon.
Nice one. See you soon, mate. Right.